What is a scene from a previous Insidious movie you most wish you could have directed? A movie that you would love to know what it would have felt like to be behind the camera for.
Ooh, great.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Mr. Wilson, always an honor, sir. Good to see you.
Looking sharp, dude. Looking good.
I appreciate you. I don't want to take up too much time with the story, but I have to tell you, whenever they do screenings, they hire a security guard just to make sure I'm not recording the movie. And halfway through the movie, the security guard, I heard her go, "Nope," and got up and walked out of the theater. So congratulations, sir.
That's amazing.
You know you nailed it. So congratulations. I'm going to jump into this because I do have 1,000 questions for you. Now that you know what it takes to step behind the camera and direct, what is a scene from a previous Insidious movie you most wish you could have directed? A movie that you would love to know what it would have felt like to be behind the camera for.
Ooh, great. I'm probably going to go with the most sort of famous scare of lipstick behind my shoulder.
I can still hear that voice.
The simplicity of that, the framing of putting him kind of halfway behind my shoulder, what you see, what you don't see, the tension in that. By the way, not that I would want to direct it, I just want to sit next to James and watch him call the shots. Yeah, that would have been cool.
That's really cool. But obviously it goes without saying that you've been on a lot of horror movie sets in your career. What is a memory that you have as an actor on one of the previous Insidious movies or even the Conjuring movies that most educated you on who you were going to be when you stepped behind the camera for this?
It's so funny. I rarely approached, I was not one of those guys that when I was acting was thinking like, okay, what's he doing? I need to watch him directing, because I'm usually thinking about the acting. Now, that being said, I'm very technical, so I'm always curious, what lens are you using? What's the camera movement? What are you going to do? Because it's a relationship that you've got with the camera. So I think for me, I guess if I'm trying to think of a scene, there's probably not a specific scene. Yeah, it's just sort of understanding the tone and the tempo of a lot of the camera work, and being very specific in the shot that you wanted. And being able to shift on the fly too. James is very much one to come in and find it in the room as well.
You mentioned the tempo, and it reminds me of one of my favorite Alfred Hitchcock quotes, which is that there's no terror in the bang, only in the anticipation of it.
That's
so I am
exactly
curious,
right.
I just want to talk about what is the art of not pulling off the scare, of which there are really great ones. Like 10 feet out of my chair with you in front of that window, but in those moments leading up to the scare.
Yeah, it's all about the tension. It's all about the setup. And James would say that for sure. He's told me that. He's like, it's not. And don't feel like you need to look for this crazy jump scare or this. It's not about that. It's about setting up the discomfort with the audience. And Lee would help with that too. Lee actually said something kind of great when we were talking about having music around something. He goes, take out the music, let the audience have the music, let the be the music. So there's some sequences. He was really helpful in that too. It's funny, I'm very musical, so I have I'm really in touch with sound and score, and when it's score, when it's when not to use it. But that was a really good advice from Lee of when not to use music, which was super, super helpful.
That is fantastic. Okay, so that leads to my final question, because I am always curious as to whether or not actors can be affected by their own movies, or directors if they can, whether or not you can be scared watching a scene that you're in front of the camera or behind the camera of. I'm sort of curious, when you sit down and watch this movie, can it scare you, or do you just know way too much about how it was all put together? See, that's kind of a bummer. I hate that you don't get to have the experience that I had, though.
I don't, but that's the joy. The joy is it's like a parent letting the kid, watching the kid have the joy and go, that makes me feel good, knowing that you're feeling good. That's the joy. The joy is, I don't need to be scared by this. I'll go watch a different horror movie to be scared. I want you to be scared.
That's fair. I've got to tell you, they were kind enough to let me bring my girlfriend to the screening last night, and without giving it away, the window scare, with you in front of the window, it's the most. She looked at me and she goes, in the entirety of us dating, that's the most I've ever seen you jump in a scare. But it scared the shit out of me, dude.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah, man. So between that and the security guard saying nope, Like, well done, my friend.
Now,
Seriously, and thank you for always being so kind.
I want you to keep the shit when you when you edit the piece, just so we're clear.
It's done. It's now, once they fire me from my station, you better hire me for your next movie.
I got you.
Done. Hey, man, I appreciate you taking the time. Thanks so much.
Take care.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.